When it comes to caregiving for a parent, what's the hardest part about it? Is it the emotional part? Is it the physical part? Is it a combination of the two? In my perspective, the emotional part is so much harder. And one of the reasons is because of the connection we've had with our parents as one of the very first connections, and how that early connection impacts who we become, our inner voice, our inner dialogue that we carry around with us every day. A lot of that started as we were kids through our relationship with our parent. Today we're going to talk about the way that our brain works, how the way our brain works results in how happy we are, how hard things are for us, especially in caregiving, the beliefs that we associate with what we're doing. And at the end of the video, we're going to do a short exercise to try to gain a little bit of control over the way we think. Because if we can get some control, all of life can be so much easier, especially caregiving for our parent. So the way that our mind works is we have a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind runs in the background. It is the part of our mind that is responsible for our deep underlying beliefs that guide our life. So for example, if I'm the type of person who would never lie, in there's this underlying belief that somebody who lies is untrustworthy, somebody who lies is a bad person. And it could often be related to something that I saw my parents do. So for example, if I had a parent who lied, I could have associated a strong belief based on that. And the way that we form beliefs is by having an experience and then attaching a strong emotion to it, then gets sent down into our subconscious, where in a second it can form a belief that will guide us for the rest of our lives. And sometimes over time of a repeated thought associated with a strong feeling, it takes a little while to build that belief. But once those beliefs are formed, they just run in the background. They affect how we think, how we feel, and how we act. And it just becomes a habit. Our mind wants to make things as easy as possible. So it wants to not have to put in a lot of effort to run this program. So for example, if I'm a caregiver to my mom and I have an underlying belief, probably from childhood, that I was never the favorite child. My younger sister was the favorite child. And I am the primary caregiver now. It's hard enough to just go through the activities of being a caregiver every day. But in the back of my mind, underneath often my conscious thoughts, are that I can't believe I'm the one doing this. I'm not the favored child. She should be doing this. And so all of these thoughts are running, and they're thoughts that are connected to a strong emotion. So I'm just kind of reinforcing the underlying belief that I was not the favored child, that I shouldn't be doing this. And it's like this vicious circle that we just keep allowing. But if we could actually distance ourselves a little bit from that deep belief that is really the thing that's making us the most miserable, life could be easier. So for example, in that same situation, if I'm the caregiver for my mom, but I don't have some of those deep-seated beliefs that I'm not the favorite child, that my other sister should be doing this, then I can go through the actions of caregiving, but I don't have all that emotional stuff dragging me down in the process. If we want to, we can change some of those deep-seated beliefs. We don't have to just blindly go through life being run by them. And one of the first steps is to become aware of what that inner dialogue that we're running constantly is saying to us. That gives us a good idea of what our subconscious might be running as a belief. Another good strategy is to reframe the experience. The feelings that we have and the beliefs that we develop have a lot to do with where we put our focus. So think of it like a flashlight. Our flashlight is our attention. So if we can put our attention where we want it more often, then we get better control over what we're thinking. If I am in the process of caregiving for my mother, my flashlight is on how unfair this is and how I don't deserve this and how somebody else should be doing this. And in that moment, it feels overwhelming. And then one feeling after another, anger, resentment, overwhelm. When we're able to take our flashlight, which is usually focused on a very small part of something, and pull it back and turn it into more of a spotlight, then we're better able to see the big picture. If I can pull that flashlight back a little and act like I am at the top of a summit somewhere looking down at the situation. So picture watching yourself in the act of caregiving. It gives us a little bit different perspective. We see more. We often can come up with alternative strategies or brainstorm ideas to make things better. So now I'd like to do a short exercise. It's called the rocking chair perspective. Some people call it the wiser elder self. And the idea is to visualize yourself at the end of your life. So you're at the end of your life, you're sitting in your rocking chair, you're in your favorite place, you're surrounded by your favorite people, your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. You feel content and happy, and you're thinking back about your life. And so picture yourself as this elderly person who has lived a long life. And now you, as the person you are today, you come walking up onto the porch and you walk up to your elder self. You sit down and you look at her or him and you say, I'm in this situation now where I'm caring for mom or dad and I'm having a really hard time. From your perspective, after we've already gone through this, what are the important things I need to know? Can you tell me some things that I really should keep in mind? And then actually be quiet for a moment and let your wiser elder self answer that question. From this perspective, as your elder self, what's important for me to remember as I'm caregiving for mom or dad? Are there ways that I can make it better and more meaningful maybe? Are there ways that I could maybe do some healing as I go through that part of my life? How do you want that experience to look? Do you want to see yourself as being angry, resentful, hating every minute of it, and then maybe even feeling guilt after your parent passes? Or do you want to be able to see yourself as having grace and resilience and some times of connection with your parent, even if they have dementia? So the rocking chair perspective can be a really good way of pulling your flashlight and turning it into more of a spotlight. When we think about it, the period of time that we're caregiving for our parent, we have more control over our situation. We may not control the physical situation that we're in, but we do control how we look at that situation. And the rocking chair exercise is a good way to kind of put it all into perspective. So hopefully today's video was helpful. If it was, please like and share, subscribe to my channel, and add any comments in the comment section below, including any future videos you think might be helpful. Thank you.